Go to school, get a job, get married, buy some cars, have some kids, work at least 40 hours per week, fill your house with stuff that you use once or twice and then put it up on a shelf. Do that for at least the next 45 years. Then once you're old and tired, once you've worked your life away and completely missed your kids' childhoods, then you can retire and try to enjoy life. That's what society says we should do. That's what society expects from us. That's crazy, right? At least to me it seemed crazy. I never felt like I was a conformist, but somehow I found myself following the path that society dictates for us.
You're stuck?
No, we checked that. We checked that.
You're checking it?
Yeah,
What are you checking?
that. We checked the cucumber. Ooh, that's bigger. I feel.
In those days I was a train wreck. I was lost in a sea of alcohol, irony, and unbridled self-pity. There were so many words I had to write, confessions on my mind. I designed them and delivered them with reckless abandon. Frustrated, past fading fast. I was constantly exploding, I was constantly screaming. The days move slow and the nights dissolve into a thickening haze, where I spoke with a tongue that wasn't mine to faces I couldn't recognize.
this whole idea started about 2 years ago. I discovered the movie Maiden Trip. It's a documentary about Laura Decker and her quest to be the youngest person to sail around the world. I watched it on my own. Then I forced my wife to watch it. Then I watched it again. I just started thinking that, if she could do it, so could we. Not that I didn't think it was a major achievement. Not to minimize her accomplishment, but I think the biggest obstacle to doing something is finding the courage to step up to the plate and take the challenge on. She is a very motivated and strong-willed person. She knew she could do it, and she ignored the naysayers and followed her heart. Going around the world on a sailboat was in my heart too, and her movie reawakened a dream. It was a seed that my grandfather had planted long ago. I made the decision that so long as my wife was on board, I wasn't going to be afraid to chase that dream. My grandfather used to say to me, "Jeffrey, one day I'd like to sell this old house, buy a sailboat, and go around the world." I used to think that sounded awesome. He had some model sailboats in the house that I would study and tons of books about the ocean. I can remember being a little boy, watching Jacques Cousteau specials with him and reading all about the ocean at his house. I used to think that one day I'd find a way to help him afford that dream, maybe even go along with him. He passed away in that house at the age of 78. He never owned a sailboat. I always thought that I'd never let that happen to me, that I'd lived the dream before I got too old, but I find myself in the loop of making excuses. I can't afford it. I need a boat that's too big and expensive. No one will understand or support me. It's too dangerous. Blah, blah, blah. At the age of 38, I found myself making excuses just like Papa did. Maiden Trip made me realize that I needed to stop making excuses and find a way. I came home from work and told Ashley that I thought we should buy a sailboat and sail around the world. She laughed and said I was crazy. She thought I wasn't serious and she thought there was no way. I told her, "Listen, if we want to do this, we can, and here is how." It was just kind of a rough plan and timeline that I had thought of over the few days prior. She thought about it for a few days and realized it was possible, that I was serious, and she agreed that it was something we should do. We were already planning on homeschooling Joey, and we could do that on a boat. Besides, what better way to learn about the world and the ocean than to see it firsthand? That was a little less than 2 years ago, and here we are getting ready to buy a boat that will take us around the world. I still watch Maiden Trip from time to time. I think I'm on my 5th or 6th time. It just keeps me motivated and reminds me that we can do it as long as we listen to our hearts and not the voices of people that just don't understand. Hi, my name is Jeff Kermath. Me, along with my wife Ashley and son Joey, are the driving force behind the YouTube channel 3 to Sea. This channel is going to document our journey as we go from landlocked desert dwellers to full-time cruisers. We're currently in the process of shopping for a boat. When we find the right boat, we're going to buy it and keep it on the California Delta. We're going to spend the next 1 to 2 years outfitting the boat and getting it ready for a world cruise. At some point before we leave, we will sell our house and move on to the boat full-time. We're going to live on the boat for a short period, and then we're going to cast off the lines and sail around the world. We hope that you will follow us for our entire journey as we go from California, around the globe, and eventually settle in Texas. It's going to be a great journey, and we're glad to have you along for the ride.